is Caleb Williams' dad. I want to get to this. Is saying some pretty interesting stuff here as Caleb Williams, according to Carl Williams, or we'll just keep it like this. Carl Williams said Caleb would stay at USC for another year if he doesn't like the situation that the number one overall pick team is in. And I kind of get it. I'll be honest with you. I kind of understand where he's coming from because, well, we'll get to that. Let me stick to my points before I run off the rails here. But I can kind of get this. I really can. Because NIL is a real thing. We know he would make much more in the NFL, and we'll get into those numbers as well. But NIL is a real thing. And we also know that the Cardinals could possibly have the number one overall pick. And his dad feels a certain type of way about how the draft plays out. But NIL, he's fourth among all college athletes. He's got deals with Fanatics, AT&T, Beats, United Airlines. Y'all seen him in that new Wendy's commercial about him transferring? Talk about a hook for a commercial or a way to just get someone to pay attention. But he's all over the place, right? He's got an NIL valuation of $2.6 million for a guy that's in college. My God. And then you have Bryce Young, just comparing this because I'm sure Caleb Williams will be the number one overall pick this year if he does enter the draft. Bryce Young signed his 4-year, fully guaranteed $38 million contract, including a $24.6 million signing bonus. So just off the signing bonus, Caleb, you're going to get, 12 times more. But I'm not going to sit here and knock Caleb for possibly wanting to stay because Caleb's a smart guy. He's won a Heisman. He transferred with Lincoln Riley. He understands the money that's in the NFL. He's not stupid. He's probably got an agent. Let's not kid ourselves here. But Caleb Williams did say, I guess in order for him to leave, a successful season would be reach 70% pass completions this year, 70% completions this year, win the Pac-12 championship, win the national championship, win a second Heisman Trophy, and go first overall in the NFL draft. Well, he's won a Heisman. Great chance to win the Pac-12. Great chance to win another Heisman. I'm going to say it's a great chance for them to win the national championship. He's already throwing for 70% completion this year. 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. I want to say just shy of 600 total yards. But here's the thing as to why I really understand why Caleb Williams and his dad ultimately might not want to have him go into the draft yet. One, the quarterback competition is high, even though I do think he is by a landslide the best quarterback in the draft. Maybe he wants to wait for less competition. We've had that in recent years happen, and even earlier years outside of recent years, we've had that happen. But Caleb Williams is regarded as literally the best NFL prospect ever seen, next to an Andrew Luck, next to a Trevor Lawrence. Of course, Trevor Lawrence was the most recent prospect to have that kind of hype. With his comparisons, talking about Caleb Williams, his comps to Mahomes, the elusiveness like Mahomes, the big arm like Mahomes. He can even kind of scramble and move around like Kyler or Lamar Jackson if he needs to, off platform, off balance. So, he's got it all, right? He truly has the swag of a QB1, of a number one overall pick, of a national championship winner, of a Heisman winner, which he's already done clearly. And it's great to see Lincoln Riley at USC having the toolage for all this. But if you're being compared already to the 6th best quarterback of all time, at that point, I don't blame him for staying because not only are you not wanting to possibly go to a dumpster fire in the Cardinals, who, by the way, picked first overall in back-to-back years not long ago with Josh Rosen. They said, fuck Josh Rosen, we're going to pick Kyler Murray. And now you have them after signing Kyler Murray to one of the biggest deals in NFL history, one of the biggest quarterback contracts. Of course, now it's, a little down the line since some people have gotten paid. They also included a study clause in there and then since took it out. Even knowing all that, how big they could possibly foot the bill, the Cardinals could still have the first and second overall pick this year due to the Houston Texans because of the way that they moved up into the 3rd position after they picked C.J. Stroud 2nd and Will Anderson in the 3rd spot. But you look at Caleb Williams' numbers just in terms of being compared as one of the great prospects of all time. The Heisman year, 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns, 5 picks, a total of 52 touchdowns as he had 10 rushing, 382 rushing yards. This year, he's already got 11 carries for 40 yards. This year, he's already completing 74% of his passes, 597 yards, 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, insane passer rating of 236.4. Of course, that's a little different for when it plays out with college athletes. But, the big thing is Carl Williams, who is Caleb's dad. He doesn't like the structure of the NFL draft. And he even mentioned Kyler Murray struggling because of where Kyler went. He even took a shot at my New Orleans Saints and said the reason that Archie Manning had such a bad career is because he went to a piss-poor organization in the 70s of the New Orleans Saints. And that's very true. That's very, very true. And I don't want to see a guy like Caleb Williams or possibly Shador Sanders or Drake May or Michael Penix or Quinn Ewers, Evers. I need to get right on that. Coming out of Texas. Hell, Kyler Murray when he came out. Trevor Lawrence when he came out. Baker Mayfield when he came out. And I've always thought, even way since before I started podcasting, watching the NFL in 2004, when I first started watching the league, I never liked the fact of the quarterback going to the worst team in the NFL, or really with the number one pick going to the worst team in the NFL. Of course, it's okay and really correct for it to work that way because the NFL likes parity, right? Put the best player in the worst position and see what they can do. Well, Trevor Lawrence overcame it. I believe if Kyler Murray wouldn't have had Cliff Kingsbury, he could have possibly overcome it. I, believe if Baker Mayfield possibly didn't go to the Browns, Baker was good coming out of college, but I didn't think he was going to be like super generational, like a lot of people were high on him for. And now we've got Caleb Williams. Now we've got a loaded draft. I didn't even mention Jaden Daniels and Jordan Travis. You don't want to see any quarterback who's the most important position in football, maybe the most important position in sports, one of the most fun positions in sports to watch. You don't want to potentially see that person go to a piss poor organization, go to a piss poor team. I know I sure as hell don't. And this is kind of where Caleb's dad is coming from. He doesn't like the way that the draft is structured. So, of course, he would leak the comment and say, well, I mean, if the Cardinals don't have it together, it's always an option for him to go back to school. It is always an option for him to go back to USC and play with Lincoln Riley. And let's be real. If Caleb Williams hasn't won a national championship yet, if he doesn't win the Pac-12 yet this year, that's all the reason to go back next year. Because also, I believe if he does wait, he'll just make more next year because the NFL is only getting more expensive. So if he waits this year, I understand because he might not want to go to the Cardinals. He's going to make more money next year. He's making $2.6 million right now without his John Hancock even on an NFL contract. So, I mean, Caleb Williams is in no rush. He's squarely in the Heisman conversation right now. USC is the number 6 team in the country, if I recall correctly, from the AP Top 25. I'm not knocking him. Do I think he should go ahead and go to the league? Yeah, go younger. Go. Go out there and make your money. Go be great. But I get it if it's possibly the Cardinals or the Rams or, I mean, I guess the Texans again. I mean, who knows, right? We don't want to see those same bad teams continue to get the number 1 overall pick again and again and again. And if the Cardinals get the number 1 overall pick, that will literally be their third number 1 overall pick in 5 years, 6 years, 4 years. Cardinals fans roast me because I don't know my shit. I know y'all are going to get in the comments and let me know. But I did think this was interesting to hear that Caleb Williams might play his 4th year. He could. Going to make more money next year in the NFL if he goes next year. Not 2024, but 2025. Shador Sanders also goes in 2025, I'm pretty sure, so he's not eligible just yet. Or wait, Travis Hunter, is eligible in 2025, not Shador Sanders. Possibly less quarterback competition next year as well because there's a lot of quarterbacks here this year. Jaden Daniels, Jordan Travis, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. A lot of quarterbacks. A lot of them. So I'm not going to knock Caleb I'm not going to knock him if as a very generational prospect being compared to Patrick Mahomes, arguably, let's see how we're looking here. Got a little bit of light falling off. Okay, we'll leave it there. Yeah, because we got a little dim in the back. As Patrick Mahomes comparison, knowing what he's done, I get it if he doesn't want to go to a bad organization. Maybe this time, or with this type of player, since he's so generational, he'll switch it up. People might go and now play for 4th years, play for how many every years of eligibility they'd like until they can possibly fall into that nicer situation of getting to a better franchise. So we'll see what happens there as Caleb Williams' dad says that he could possibly go back and play at USC.